Love it. Fantastic. Great chat. Great information. Seriously, I just find that whole world fascinating about how the different regions come about. I'm just looking for the one day where Africa start to come up and we can get some qualifiers down there and get them into some of these masters and majors and minors as well. Draft number 1 is about to begin or has begun with some bans already. Jack, LFY, what do they want to get rid of here that they don't want to play against with coL?
Well, so there's kind of the considering what the opponent wants. Like the Wisp is a hero that not many Chinese teams play. Is especially dangerous. Like I would say, Western teams by far known much more for leveraging this hero than anything else. It kind of changes the balance of some of the lanes a little bit, which is a hard, intangible thing to really grasp. But he can turn relatively weaker lanes into much stronger ones. Obviously, a ton of mobility and 5-man, a real enabler for complexity. So not surprised that's being taken out.
And a great Z-Freak hero as well. Do you think they might target him a little bit? And I mean, that Enchantress yesterday was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Could be. That's Enchantress, something that obviously Alpha plays as well. So it could be something that could away directly by picking it themselves.
Gyro, one of those things that we've mentioned several times at this tournament, very Chinese heavy right now in terms of the meta. They're favouring it a lot, and they've banned it out against complexity. Shown a penchant to steal a few ideas from the Chinese meta as well.
They've been running a decent amount themselves too, and in different ways. I mean, it's mainly been in the mid role, and then you have somebody else that can roam in and try and find an early kill. But it seems like it's a solid ban, and banning out the beef over on that side. But LFY gonna take the tiny. Witch Doctor feels like it could be kind of good here.
Little wry smile there as that tiny came out for LFY rather than complexity.
Yeah, Mu himself was playing Gyro, I think, as far back as the TI qualifiers when no one else was really running this hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Still incredibly strong right now.
Quick word on the Omni, banned by complexity, just to cover that Razor Omni combo that we've been talking about that Newbie successfully employed yet again in the upper bracket final.
I think that's smart. And I mean, even if you don't get the Razor, it's still just such a strong hero even without that. So I like that ban a lot more than like taking out the Razor. But the tiny pick also, it's just, I feel like I'm so surprised that it keeps getting through time and again because it has burst damage, it's got tank ability, it's strong in the lane. It just feels like it's so good overall. Puck, Winter Wyver opening.
And again, this comes back to flexibility. We've talked about it before. The Wyvern can be played in a couple of lanes for complexity, and they've played the puck in 4 different ways, including a 4 position as well. So plenty of flexibility in their early picks.
Turn to ban.
This is something we've not seen often let through at all this tournament, let alone for Afu, who's during TI. This was a hero that was being first picked by. It was either this or Earth Spirit just about every single game. And he plays so well on it, not just in terms of providing vision, but scaling, maximizing his impact in fights where other Night Stalkers usually fall off. So that's a huge pickup for them. And also vision, just in general, against complexity, against a team that wants to start these 5-mans and start running at you as soon as possible. It's a great hero for that reason. I'm a little bit surprised that complexity banned out the Medusa, but this could also be a draft point for LFY. They're thinking, you know, complexity is not really the type of team that likes to run a hero like Medusa, and that's something that we've seen have success against tiny.
And I like this. They ban out all 3 of the main superheroes. Like you talk about it, the Dusa, the DK, the Death Prophet, they're all gone. They're forcing them to do something different. And that point about the Night Stalker, it's really surprising because Complexity tend to ban it out as well, not just against LFY. It's LFY's most hero that people ban against him by far, but Complexity were also banning it out going into this tournament. So it feels like maybe they've come up with an answer to it, or they're just more afraid of giving those, you know, the superheroes and the Ogre Omni stuff away.
Yeah, what Super is able to do on these heroes is really, it's kind of dictate the pace of the game even without direct lane pressure or kill potential. It's like he stands there, you can't really force him out of lane, but when he feels ready to push, he'll just lead a charge, whether directly through mid or elsewhere. And that's what Super is most comfortable doing. If you put him on, if you end up have him play maybe a showier hero, more of an aggressive or kill type of hero, he's actually less comfortable, generally speaking. And so they're starting to limit his pool, as you said, Gabe.
A lot of complexity.
It's a nice way to kill somebody and actually affect the Winter Wyvern ult by throwing the amp damage on him. And also just in general, it's these things that do percentage-based damage from the Wyvern. It's a way to amp up your damage with the Slardar. I think that's really what they're trying to focus on here, is take out these heroes that are hard to kill, like the Tiny, and find a way to make it work where previously we haven't really seen that happen. So I guess for LFY, I'm thinking about like other mid laners. Is Razor really the main one that's left for Super?
I think for other reasons, Razor would be pretty solid pickup for. Look at the heroes. Some of the heroes that they're banning out. You talk about a CK or Weaver.
Yeah, I mean, if he's most played this last 30 days, it is DK Medusa, and then it's Necro, surprisingly perhaps. Sniper Mirana is also what.
The sniper is a bit harder to run in this case. Like there's multiple gap close for him.
Pop would be okay though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I like Super as much on those
tough
heroes.
To play into this. I still think Razor might be their most solid choice here.
He's also got just outside, well, within his top 10, he's got a Pugner, a Lena, a Viper, and a Storm. Outside of his main core of 4 or 5 that he plays, those are the next 5.
Team pick.
If they're not taking the Razor, I wouldn't mind them waiting a while on this pick and letting them ban it out later. Like if they're comfortable taking something like that Viper, I like the idea of that one, then they can wait on that one, get it in the last pick, because none of them are as good as those others. And
Ooh, a Drow.
all right.
Okay. They had a plan all along, didn't they?
Yeah, this is really good. This is that amp damage again. So you've got it with the Slardar, you've got the Drow Aura, and now also Wyvern is going to be doing that percentage-based damage.
5 seconds.
You have options here for LFY. I mean, they'll often save their core picks later on anyway, but potentially, I'm not sure how Terrorblade feels into this. Probably not as good playing into this if they end up going with that route, but the save is nice from the Dazzle. Again, this is one of DC's more commonly played heroes against all this physical damage. Well,
yeah, that's the thing that really scares me is like this is a complexity draft going for minus armor and a lot of right click, and they pick it now into a Dazzle. But they were very heavily invested into this already. I think that LFY, if they get like one other defensive-ish type of hero.
sorry, not just physical damage, but single target. A lot from complexity, and so.
Dire team ban.
So a way to find the Drow, start the fight. I really like that TB you were talking about now as well.
The Bat Rider just presents some lane matchup issues for complexity, and this goes back to what we talked about before. If they cannot lane the Drow and the Wyvern against the Bat Rider, or the Bat Rider has some help to begin with, then the Drow's going to have a very tough game. She can die just about any time that the Bat Rider is near. So that's going to make that a pretty tough game, pretty tough lane.
Are we thinking the puck is a 3?
I think usually Limp plays this.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's the other one. Yeah, Z-Freak plays it an awful lot as
Oh,
well.
that's true.
In that
They
four,
can use that
so,
as a support as well.
I actually like it best with Limp right now, though. And I wouldn't mind seeing, if LFY do go for like a high agi armor hero, complexity actually going back for the ET. I wouldn't mind that as a last pick, just to sort of round it all out. But again, it's sort of dependent upon what LFY take, but since complexity have last pick, they can sort of wait and see what they want to go for.
I think complexity might round things out with something like a master. Just again, like the Drow Aura it helps their mid quite a bit, but Broommaster being a matchup issue, being an objective destroyer in these team fights when they want to be running at people, you can get the save into the air. You kind of keep these crucial heroes out of the fight, or just keep them busy so you're done wearing people down one at a time. So I think that's a potential pickup for them and a very popular pick.
Tinker, it's very clear. Complexity want to push, don't want to go against Tinker. Ban. It's another one of those flexible picks that, like, still not exactly sure where complexity would take it.
So there's one of the 10 direct Drow counters.
Do they have?
It's actually been the other super mid hero this tournament. I think he's played PA twice.
I really don't like it against the Wyvern, though. I feel like that is a scary matchup to go against.
5 seconds remaining.
It's not great against, I mean, it feels like it would disruptive to try to blow someone up in the Wyvern, but...
It's also Cold Embrace.
But again, like with complexity damage being very single target physical focus right now, you have a hero that excels against that. It would be the Phantom Assassin, and obviously someone to get on top of the Drow as well.
I feel like I really like, I don't know, I personally really like Complexity's draft right here. I think that if they take a sort of initiating off lane here, or if they wanted to do a different route. And I mean, this draft could go any number of ways as far as the position of the lanes. Something else that just sort of gets a couple stuns in there, initiator or counter initiator. I still like the ET.
Down here.
Here we go.
Choose your hero.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to see what they pick out. Is Moo going to go off lane with that tide? I think it's going to pick the Wyvern. Does look like a
Or Chessie Drow probably.
Chessie Drow Limp Puck.
Yeah, I like Complexity's draft a lot. I think that the Tide Hunter fits what they needed. It's going to help them get objectives. It's their style. I'm going to bet on them.
Okay.
They have a lot of answers. It feels like LFY needs to. I feel like they can have a good, strong early lane phase, but then they need to scale a little bit more later on to really threaten kind of the team fight of Complexity. So I still like LFY. I think LFY are the better team, and I think they're in this game, but I like Complexity draft.
Okay. I'm still a little bit unsure. Are you both going for Complexity here?
I'm going for LFY.
Damn boy.
So we nearly got him. He was nearly there. We just that far away from turning him into an NA Dota fan. But nevertheless, maybe he will be at the end of Game 1 as we head back to the arena. To bring you that live commentary, it's our iconic team of Capitalist and Blitz.
The world knows that Complexity have a very tough trial ahead of them, going up against LFY, and it's Complexity who knows it too. We had a chance to be able to talk to Complexity yesterday, but they said that if they can beat LFY, they can beat anybody at this tournament, and I have a tendency to agree. And in fact, we both talked about it on the panel. We felt like LFY was going to be able to make that run through the grand finals.
I mean, I could also say if I was 6'5", I could play in the NBA. There's a lot of qualifying statements that we could make here.
So that's the kind of David versus Goliath you're viewing this as. Despite them both being top 4 at this tournament and in the lower bracket, you think that LFY is just that much better than Complexity?
Well, no, I literally can't gain any more height, but Complexity does have a chance against.
They do have a chance.
Yeah, they actually have that ability to win this game. It's going to be tough, and that's no disrespect to Complexity at all. It's just because LFY is that good. When you talk about a lot of these Chinese teams, you start to ask, like, around the Western scene, like, what team do you revere? Like, what team do you look around as the stability factor? And everyone almost always points to LFY and not Newbie, in fact.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things, if you're looking at LFY, there's a lot of things that you just don't want to be giving them. Now, one of the things they didn't end up picking up was the early Tiny for Monet. That's going to be quite dangerous. Complexity apparently thinking that a Dro push strat is going to be what secures them this first victory against LFY. Do you think that, first of all, that the Dro push strat has merit here against LFY, and then after that we'll tackle the PA that LFY last picked?
Well, the thing about Dro strats is that they almost always run out of steam at some point. It's very hard to scale with this hero because think about a toolkit. Her survivability lacks, her mobility lacks, her damage is largely single target focus until you get like Aghanims, for example. But even that's another item that takes some time to grab. It's not easy to flash farm that. The vulnerabilities in this hero exist for a reason. But at the same time, like, she does beef up all of your heroes for free. Like, that's the trade-off, is that she's going to improve the rest of your laning phase, hopefully by quite a lot.
We're going to see that here as Limp is going to be in the 1v1 against Inflame's Batrider, who's already cutting the creep wave with Firefly. Mid lane, it's actually going to be Moo's Tidehunter, who's going to match up against Super's Phantom Assassin, who's picked against the Dro Ranger strategy. And then we have an aggro tri lane from Complexity heading into the Tiny. Now, this is not the first time that people have attempted to disrupt the Tiny. You could see already they're trying to kick Monet out of his lane as early as possible.
Yeah, and I really like this laning setup, though, that they have. I think that it benefits Complexity quite a bit, as Afu trying to trade hits, and it's the Batrider who had already pulled, but Puck doesn't mind this either, and Moo's going to get a really free lane here.
It looks like Complexity might just win all 3 of their lanes.
That is...
It's going to be the toughest one for Limp, let's say, but as you said, he doesn't mind this 1v2 that he's currently facing.
Yeah, it's annoying, though. I don't think you win that lane, but simply surviving, I think, is enough.
Yeah.
In situations like that. Because Batrider is pretty annoying for Puck. The churn rate really messes this hero up, which is why LFY is putting a lot of focus and emphasis on that. because they realize, like, what is a Night Stalker supposed to do mid against Moo? It's gonna get doubly bad.
And it's not gonna win your tri-lane versus tri-lane. The Tiny's not magically gonna start winning his lane against a Drow Ranger aggro tri-lane.
Yeah,
if
but
the Night Stalker's
he
there
always
as
gets
well.
to, like, chuck some trees.
Yeah.
Like, have something going for him.
And we could see he does have some CS, 4 and 0 right now, actually somewhat keeping pace with the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, and he misses the last hit right there. But
That's twice now. He's thrown the tree and missed out on the CS on the range creep.
for LFY, the name of the game is Outlast. Bend, don't break.
Sure.
It's the type of strategy that they want to employ. As long as you don't get messed up too hard in the laning phase in the mid game, then you can just default win this game. Like a PA with a BKB is going to be absolute king of this game.
And that's why we saw it picked up, right? Is that the Phantom Assassin is one of the ultimate counters to a Drow Ranger push strat. It just gets on top of the Drow Ranger and deals with her immediately.
But it's not as easy as that. I actually do like Complexity's lineup a lot because I feel like they can battle for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, the Tidehunter is going to be very effective against the PA. We've got good kiting mechanisms against the PA as well. We've got Winter Wyvern's Cold Embrace. We have the Puck as well. Later on to the game, if we get an Aghanim Scepter, that's also going to be a good controlling factor against the PA, who needs that BKB to operate efficiently.
He needs a few items. There's a point, though, where Drow can do some stuff. Like, once she gets Silver Edge or MKB, and also has that amp on top of her, this Drow Ranger will rip her up. But that requires a lot of different items from Chessie.
Yeah.
As bottom lane continues to get beat on.
And they are just repeatedly zoning him back with the Winter Wyverns, Arctic Burn.
They're keeping up in levels at bottom 2, which is a little bit surprising. It's a dual lane against a tri-lane, but they are being zoned out really nicely by the two supports.
Yeah, meaning a significant amount of experience is being missed all around by LFY.
And we should also mention, of course, that Wyvern is going to be sick in this game.
Yeah. It's already shown his strength versus the Tiny, being able to use the Winter's Curse, but here the Cold Embrace is going to have equal, if not perhaps greater value against the Tiny, and especially the PA. Limp's going to be run down here. He actually already threw out down the defensive orb. They're going to have to TP in the Slardar just to make sure that our Puck doesn't get dove for first blood.
Yeah, that's so scary. And even though you think of Puck as a very hard to kill hero, Batrider is one of the better heroes at dealing with him. Simply because you can just get on top, chase after him, and once he uses that orb, the level 1 phase shift is not enough for him to get out.
Boy, DDC and Monet can't be happy with their lane right now.
Super's actually
Still
doing
level
well.
2.
Super found a DD rune early on and used that to leverage himself some CS.
Eventually, we are going to see this Drow Ranger push strat turn into a tower-taking machine. It's going to be another one of the dangers. Complexity, especially with being able to win both their mid lane and do all right at top lane. We should have some pretty good initiation from both the Puck and the Tidehunter as well. Is it Tide? Do we just go kind of like the build that we've been seeing, just kind of ignoring Blink Dagger and allow the Puck to be our initiator, and we're going to have some sustainability items picked up by him?
Yeah, I think he'll just go Greaves. Get really big. Puck. I don't know what Puck gets this game. I don't know if he grabs Veil. Probably not. Maybe he just right-clicks a little bit more.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ben's Silver Edge travels Puck with Hand of Midas?
No.
He can do that.
Monet going to be gone on here. Nice double stun there with the Avalanche to be able to slow down coL, but still going to be able to get the crush in the end. Monet in serious trouble.
No
DDC
grave.
does need to come in, but he doesn't have the grave to be able to save Monet. They're just relying on the damage not being enough, but Z-Freak does manage to get the Splinter Blast. DDC gets a little bit too close. Now Chessie closed in on, is going to be taking a lot of tower shots, but not enough for Afu to be able to punish him with a turnaround kill. Chessie and the rest of his boys are able to pick up the first blood finally at 5.5 minutes in for Complexity.
Relatively slow-paced game. And surprisingly enough, it is Complexity that gets the first
no, coL gonna have both bounty runes taken away from him. Trying to go for the contest.
Got so many different bounty runes right there.
Yeah, they did. Batrider got 2, Afu got 2.
It looked like Batrider got 4. That was weird. I hit enter and...
Yeah, he's gotten the last 2 as well. Because Limp can't possibly really contest those bounty runes at top lane.
That does make a difference, although because of the dual lane situation, it's actually Inflame that's behind in levels. Yeah. Has slightly more farm, but that's largely just been because of the bounty runes. So I think right now...
they're going to try and go for Mood here. Now he does have a buckler, so this physical damage is not really going to do a whole lot. They're going to ravage turn around. See for the Winter Wyvern if they can actually get some kills here with the Blitz Blast. It actually goes for the chase on Afu, but it's Super who's going to be low after the Magic Wand usage. It looks like they are going to be able to finish off the Anchor Smash. A second kill for Complexity.
And just a weird target to go on.
A Tidehunter, especially as he just picks up a buckler with all physical damage.
That is not the person that you want to go on. He has wand charges as well.
Yep.
There's no burst damage on their side. That Night Stalker only has the level 1 Void. And that is a surprising contest for them. They just gave him a free Ravage.
It looked like to me LFY was just getting, they were finally fed up with the way the laning phase was going, and they decided we have to get something. Let's try and kill this Tidehunter.
But why though?
But why indeed?
But why though? They know they have the better late game and it's going to go rough. But you can't give them opportunities like that because Complexity's lineup is heavily built around snowballing. Who's up at top.
coL being used top lane. Inflame, who's the only one who's had a really good lane so far, is going to be caught here. Looks like with the Slardar as well as the Puck, they're easily able to bring him down. I do want to point out Z-Freak's build right now. Z-Freak took up the Winter Wyvern. Now, normally we think of it as a 4 position, but he is going to be retaining that. He's going to turn himself into a damage dealer that we've seen from Z-Freak's Winter Wyvern before, picking up the phase boots. And a normal build for a Winter Wyvern, but does seem to fit Z-Freak's style.
Yeah, and both supports on the side of LFY getting out-leveled right now. And surprisingly enough, like coL has been really good throughout this tournament at keeping up in levels. Like, normally I think of him as...
Sorry, you just didn't finish that sentence right away. Oh, they're going to jump onto Z-Freak here. He's going to be caught, tried to go into the cliff area. Of course, that's exactly where the Bat Rider can fly to. So they'll be able to run him down. Super is the one to pick up the last hit off the dagger.
Did I just say coL's normally really bad?
No, you made it sound like that at first. coL is going to be caught out here by Super. It's some trouble. The Chinese crowd's going crazy for an attempted kill for Super, but he doesn't really have much of a chance.
Oh,
Once Moon gets there, a crit dagger brings him low, but still not enough. Did you hear that? They were like chanting or something.
There was something going on behind us. They're pretty amped up about that. But that was a really unlikely kill. Calm yourselves, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he still had 8 magic stick charges.
It's like the very first TI I went to. I went to TI, what was it, TI 2? And the crowd wasn't sure how to react as up at top, Afu is just going to get right-clicked.
He's waiting for the coL. He really doesn't want to snap it. And Limp is going to run out of shots, but it looks like the final one is enough to be able to bring Afu down.
Another kill as no cheers this time. Complexity off to a really good start. Not the biggest net worth lead we've seen, and the Tiny is not that far behind, but it's this Tidehunter who is steadily picking up some farm, almost has that mech completed on him.
And you have to wonder, once they do get a mech, and if they get a Blink Dagger on the Puck, they start 5-manning into towers. How are LFY actually going to deal with this?
I'm not sure. I think you just allow your Bat Rider to shove out the waves.
Yeah.
The problem is the Tiny needs a lot of levels to be able to do that, too. For LFY to play this game, and the easiest way... Oh.
That smoke is going to get popped on DDC. Now, it looks like they may still find the kill here. He's got Shallow Grave TP out, and they're not going to be throwing down a Ravage to stop that.
Yeah, and Monet's going to see this coming now and TP out himself.
Looks like they're immediately going to go maybe try and put the pressure on mid lane, which is not a bad idea when they have to give up on tower.
Wyvern has the TP now.
So he's going to go and try and defend mid lane.
So Wyvern has to be the counter split pusher.
Yep.
They do have pretty fast heroes, but like of course Tide and Dro are immobile.
Whoa! Bye-bye, coL.
coL.
He did not expect to get blown up quite so quickly, especially since he probably thought that Z-Freak was going to be able to help him out with the Cold Embrace if they did start going on him, but he does not actually have it.
No, sir. 3 levels of Arctic Burn.
All offense from Z-Freak. That's the way he plays his Winter Wyvern.
Bottom lane was taken, though, by the 2 cores, and now that is a completed mech on the Tidehunter. It's going to be very hard for LFY to take that fight.
And so instead of trying to contest the Draw Ranger pushes directly, they're instead trying to go for these trade-offs. Last time they tried to push mid, now they're trying to hit top lane as well, but Limp is there to be able to contest. They're even going to bring the Tidehunter back as well. And doesn't look like they want to go for a push into the tier 2 bottom lane anymore.
Yeah, with the Tidehunter TP out, he's their strongest hero. Nothing doing for him, as now he wants to grab the top tower before LFY can respond. They just always need to keep the Wyvern middle, and that'll make it difficult for LFY to get any sort of reaction out of complexity.
How do you push into Splinter Blast plus Arctic Burn doing a lot of damage with the levels being forced into that one, as well as the phase boots.
Yeah, there's no Blink Dagger, or no Veil, by the way, on Limp. He understands that the Blink is more important. Because the Tide has gone for more of the tank.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you get Blink in a game like this from Mu. I'm pretty sure because there's so many melee cores, you can just get the run-up.
Yeah. May even consider, like, later on a Force Staff rather than a Blink Dagger. Because Force would help out his allies a bit more.
It's the threat of the Ravage alone.
Yep.
That's usually enough against melees.
One just hunting for bounty runes, or is he hunting for heroes? Looks like it's just bounty runes. As our Juro Ranger is trying to farm up Ancients. Seems like Complexity going to be willing to play this slow. They're not trying to rush the tower pushes just yet. Trying to get those key items first. Oh, that is a fast Tidehunter. Oh, bottom lane. The toss back there onto coL right before he could get the crush. Really well played, while mid lane, Z-Freak is going to be dove by Super and an Inflame.
Yeah, the pace of the game kind of petered out a little bit for Complexity. The Wyvern just trying to sit mid, which is what he should do, but you do have to anticipate at some point somebody is going to try to kill you, because you're just sitting there not really making any sort of rotations. All the cores are showing on the map right now. Like, they knew that the Drow was bottom, they knew that the Puck was top, the Tidehunter was showing top as well.
That was pretty much a wasted rotation for Mu, who was top lane, which is a decent position for him. Just had to kind of run from bottom to mid. Now looks like they're going to be able to catch off Boo. Goes for the TP out, but too much damage out from the Splinter Blast. They are still going to try and fight this one. Inflame's coming in from the side, able to slow down while Super goes in, but a nice Winter's Curse onto the Bat Rider does change up, and Super's forced to go onto him instead, trying to slow down the Winter Wyvern in the back lines, but they realize now there's too many Complexity members here. So LFY start backing themselves away. They manage to force rotations up the top lane. 4 members of Complexity here.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be 2, but everyone comes in. Nice pickup of Afu, who still has a decent amount of net worth. Like, despite all these deaths, it feels like he hasn't had any impact. He's 0-2-0, but his team doing pretty well for himself, and he's somehow ahead of the Wyvern, who's got a similar score.
Then to bottom lane. Just tried to deal with Monet's push. Super doing something similar with the Tidehunter. We saw Mu, he was banging on that mid tier 1 tower quite a bit. Bat Rider flying out, but coL with the sprint is easily able to get himself away. It's that Invis rune that maybe with the wrap on mid, we're going to see some action. Looks like they want to, if they can wrap around him and kill Super.
Yeah, Courier is also sniped out.
Radiant's middle tower.
Limp now meeting the rest of his team mid, a very important tower, and LFY, they've got to split the map right now. This should create some space for Monet, who's going for his own Shadow Blade as an initiation tool.
Why the Shadow Blade over the Blink?
I think the Blink might be better for team fights, but I think the Shadow Blade has a lot more value as a pickoff item, and it allows you to move around the map really fast.
And that is the plan
Silver
from
Edge.
LFY, right? They don't want a 5-man fight Complexity a whole lot. They'd rather split push them up. Yeah, they're going to find him and manage to get the jump on before he can do anything. He just tries to go invis, but what is he going to do from here? They do have some more AoE coming up. He goes for the Avalanche onto Z-Freak, tries to toss him over the neutrals and run himself away. Looks like it with a launch, plus the dazzle, but no. Finally, Limp does manage to get him, finish him off. Now jumps to his coil, but he's going to be silenced up. Great Winter's Curse. Going to be laid onto the Night Stalker. Maybe it's enough with a Splinter Blast. Not quite enough. He does manage to heal himself alive. Limp is quite low. Bumped back by the Flame Break, though. Maybe he can live. No, his face shift is not going to be enough.
Go
coL
now.
He's in a nasty position. Going to be slowed down by the dagger. Z-Freak not able to do a whole lot to be able to stop this one. Splinter Blast slows down some of the back line, but Super is able to stay in step with coL. The Slaughter ends up going down. Now they're going to look for the Winter Wyvern up to the back lane over this tower. They're pinging out a spot that they think he's hiding into, but he's actually not. Z-Freak has just kept on trekking forward into the side shop and is looking for a TP point out, it looks like, while Chessie is getting that free push into mid lane. Don't tell me Z-Freak's going to show himself here. Hiding away. Should be good.
They don't know they're pinging right now. They see him.
Oh my god, DDC spotted now. Z-Freak, he has to fly over the trees now. He's kind of stuck here. He's surrounded by heroes. There's no way out of this one. They've blasted it up. They've cold embrace. They've done everything they can to make sure that Z-Freak is not going to live in this scenario.
Created a ton of space for his team, but I almost feel like at the very end, if he just TPs out there, he's completely gone. A little bit too greedy. And as a response, they're trying to go for the Roshan.
Oh no, this is a risky move from Complexity.
It's hard for them to fight though. There's no Bad Rider ulti. They can't TP there because of this. And this is what Z-Freak's plan
they
was.
managed to kill Afu, but at the same time, Kyle does get jumped on by Monet as he tries to get some idea about where LFY are. Super walks in the pit. Right as Roshan so low, he's going to be silenced up. Chessie starts backing out of the pit. He doesn't want to be close to the PA.
It's
Moon
so
is
low,
here to be able
though.
to help out, though. They're going to be able to get the Ravage to first down the PA. Jump forward to Monet as well. Nope, they give up on that. They want to be able to finish off Roshan, but now Inflame is here. He's got the fire, and he's going to start traveling over the pit, and they don't have that big team fight ability anymore. Inflame waiting it out, playing it patient, wants to be able to jump in and see if he can grab the Aegis. Roshan's getting low. They're trying to focus him down. Roshan's done. He's actually going to be in fight with that first. Roshan gets dropped. They managed to pick up the Aegis onto Kyle, who apparently panicked and picked up the Aegis to make sure no one else could get it. But it means our Juro Ranger is going to be without that second life. Complexity do win the Roshan pit fight against LFY. It seems like that decision for them to take Roche does end up being a smart one.
And normally when you have a Bad Rider, you're the uncontested king of that Roche pit area, but he just wasn't there in time because of that bottom shenanigans, and now it starts to come into play. We understand why Z-Freak was running around that bottom area so long, because he was trying to get his team undetected through that Roche pit. Largely successful, and it pans out into an excellent fight. They were able to blow up Super, take down his streak. Now all three cores on the side of Complexity at the top of the charts. And what I really like here, Cap, is that they're not forcing things.
Yep.
They do have a push lineup, but they're taking objectives smartly. They're not just grouping up as 5 and showing as Complexity normally do. They're giving them different looks. They're ganking.
Yep.
They're shoving them around the map, and now they're the team that's tempo setting, and it's a 6K gold lead in favor of the American team.
Even in that situation about this Roshan fight, just before it, we had Limp actually killing off Fu with the pucks. So he wasn't, they didn't all in on just like 5-manning into the Roshan pit. He actually got a successful gank during that whole entire period.
Yeah.
You could see just how close Roshan was to death right as Inflame dies there.
Oh, and that's why Kyle was just spam picking
Yeah,
it.
he was clicking it and he just picked up the
He's
Aegis
like, what
instead.
if something happens?
Yeah.
They didn't have a, I don't think they had a sentry there either, and they know that Monet has a Shadow Blade. So I think for him it was just...
Kyle's in a good position to be able to catch the Bat Rider here. He's got an Invis rune, and his team is going to TP in. He's going to be able to get the amplified damage and the slowdown with the puck, and Juro Ranger closing in fast with Winter Wyvern on the other side. It's pretty easy for them to get that kill.
And they just keep setting up looks. LFY right now. This is the downside of having Night Stalker on your team. When you have a Night Stalker on your team, sure, you can see them and you get gank off potential, but what does it really matter when they're just 5-manning up now? Your team fight potential is relatively limited. It's just your darkness, your void, and your crippling fear when they're balled up like this is very mediocre.
The Shadow Blade is there from the Tiny, but LFY are not looking strong enough to force Complexity to split up ever. So I'm not sure if this Shadow Blade is ever going to be useful for him.
Yeah, and the downside too is LFY, instead of shoving in the side lanes, look at them.
Yeah,
they're
just
just watching their base. They're watching them farm right now. I feel like this top lane is being shoved in, this bottom lane is being shoved in. Neither of these sides are being worked on, and Complexity are like, okay, I guess they're not even jungling, and LFY respond too late. It looked like they wanted to take a fight, but that would have been madness.
That is the definition of a free tier 2 right there. LFY were getting no farm in exchange. They just watched as their tier 2 crumbled. Now this one, at least Monet is pushing out the bottom lane while Complexity head up to top tier 2.
And this should have been the instant response. Because Monet shoves in this bottom lane, but it almost looks like they're a little bit lost right now. It doesn't feel like they're playing like they normally do, because nobody's taking advantage of these towers being taken. Even bottom, Monet is still late to that wave. And Complexity just continue to build their lead. A second ago I said it was 6K, now it's 10K. It should not be this high.
The Blink Dagger is finally here for the Bat Riders, so maybe Inflame can start a good fight, at least a good pick for LFY.
Afu.
But they caught Afu, and he tries to fly over the cliff, but immediately Limp is going to be there on the other side.
And look at Limp's item choice. Instantly going for the Aghanim Scepter. This is more of a utility puck, so that he can counter that PA when he eventually does get a BKB.
Yeah, what do you do if you get initiated on by a puck? Even if you pop BKB as a PA and you go for that Blink Strike, most of your timing is gone then, because that stun lasts so long.
Yeah, and Super, once again, I mean, the last time he played PA, I think he got absolutely crushed in lane, but he managed to do a good job of coming back. Similar time this time. But it's the rest of his cores that are lagging so far behind. We're not used to seeing Tinies this underfarmed, and this Shadow Blade just hasn't paid dividends.
No, it certainly hasn't. You almost wonder if he wish he could go back to the Blink Dagger, because it does seem like we are going to be forced in that desperation team fight for LFY as they continue to strike out every single time they go for these pickoffs. You see another 3-man smoke up, running into the dire jungle, finding nothing, as Complexity are doing a smoke of their own, invading Radiant jungle, while Tidehunter goes and pushes out that bottom lane, hoping to be able to either bait a rotation or at least set themselves up for a fast push.
And right now, Limp doesn't have a dust. I feel like that's a little greedy for neither of their supports to grab any sort of detection. If they ran into Monet there, I don't even know if they kill him. But that top lane should now be pressured. But at bottom,
Inflame tries to get in front of the push. They might be going to be caught by the coil. Complexity, they execute him. Now with a 4-versus-5 advantage, they're going to start banging on this tier 3. They do manage to get the weave out. This is something that Complexity are going to have to play carefully around. But they do feel like Moo on the front lines is going to be enough. Hold the brace up while he takes the tower. They're going to be able to get the jump and the initiation, executing the dazzle as well. Now they go for the Phantom Assassin, could finish off Jesse, and now they're turning around. They're going to throw down the Ravage, finish off the Phantom Assassin. Even Monet in the back lines does manage to get caught. Afu comes in from behind. Still not enough to finish off Jesse, who's easily at half HP. Nice move. Complexity, they are killing here in this game 1.
Oh, the silence is deafening right now. PA bot back, still gets double racks. They're going to go in for this. Monet is amped up.
Oh
Gush
no,
as well.
now with the Gush amplified, no. Complexity are giving up on this. Complexity, they've thrown games before, even at this tournament. Oh, Moo!
There's no reason for him to do this.
LFY. He does not need to be here. There is nothing to be gained by doing this right now, but to get into LFY's heads.
And they push him back, but even with that blatant disrespect, there was nothing for them to stay there for, and he still just did that. All it did was create an opportunity for LFY. Blatantly showboats. Proud does not like that one bit as LFY. Maybe they go for a smoke gank, but Moo just continues to be in their faces.
Oh, maybe this is going to be a good fight, though, for LFY. They're pushing into Complexity while Moo is mid. As I say that, Complexity backed off, and Moo starts making his way to his team.
Yeah. They've got to calm themselves down right now. The game is still not over.
Yeah.
LFY will play till the better end.
LFY looking at items. We're trying to pick up Solar Crest and Urn for the Night Stalker, the Force Staff for the Bat Rider. They desperately need to be able to have a good Bat Rider initiation and bring someone out of position. Probably the Puck or the Drow Ranger, and just let that PA blow him up with the Desolator. But they're just, we saw from that last engagement, Super did get a crit onto the Drow Ranger, and it still wasn't enough to bring down Chessie, who survived off of a good 300, 400 HP.
Yeah, and remember, this is a Drow that didn't even have the Aegis. Normally, you go for these high ground engagements with that Aegis, thinking that you need to be able to frontline and hit the tower, but that's what Moo does. And that's why this Tidehunter is so value, is you can't bring him down easily. It's not easy to burst him. Even if you lasso him, does he go down? He's got Greaves, Hood, Medallion, a Plate Mail. Like, this is a very tanky Tide. He's pushing solo in mid right now in complete vision.
Look at this cheeky choice here, the Buckler picked up.
Oh, he's really taunting them right now.
Yeah, he just wanders in with his team behind him. Hoping to be able to taunt LFY to going on to him, but it would just be a bait. Oh man, if the Puck gets the initiation, I don't see how LFY could win this fight, so they have to be able to get the jump.
They've got to do something here.
They're on limited time.
Yeah, I think Complexity, they wait out the... You can just wait out the weave and then go back in.
It's senseless to try and force this fight. They could just continue to poke back and forth. Every single time weave is used, wait till it's out, push forward again. They're controlling all the lanes. LFY's not farming anywhere else, right? It's not like Monet's pushing out bottom right now. They're all inside their base, meaning LFY are gaining nothing during this stall period.
It feels like the game is much later, but
okay, now they're going to start jumping on a Moo, and he does nothing.
Yeah, this is not the target that you want to go on. But
okay,
they do lasso him.
What?
No, they lasso creep.
Did he? I think he instantly Kraken shelled that.
Okay, that works too. I think he instantly Krakened him too, because none of the creeps are there. And this is why normally you don't see Bat Riders go for Tide, but I think he just pissed them off enough.
I think he did too. I think Moo's taunt tactics work.
I am sort of inclined to agree.
All right, well, another weed's going to be used. Complexity are going to backtrack their way through.
They
now the jump on the side. Monet's going to be popped so quickly. Look at that amplified damage. The Ravage goes down, able to control a couple of heroes in the back line as well. Super jumped in, but he immediately got hit by the Ravage. Couldn't even get a support out of that, and GG is called.
They don't even wait. Oh my lord, that was so one-sided.
Very subdued applause for Complexity here in this game one.
They get the golf clap, but Complexity just ran them over. That was, aside from the Vega game, that might have been the most one-sided game so far in the tournament.
Insane. And here, everyone, I'm sure we're not the only analysts. I'm sure the Russian analysts, the Chinese analysts, I'm sure they are all pointing to LFY definitely being the favored team in this matchup, and Complexity just style on everyone, not just LFY, but the commenters as well.
Man, they read